Geneva Convention and the hidden truth about legal status. Let's talk about the Geneva Convention and how it quietly connects to trust law, birth certificates, and the idea that we are still, lawfully, treated as prisoners of war. Most people think the Geneva Convention only applies in war zones, but here's the truth. Geneva Conventions are 4 international treaties agreed to by nearly every nation, including Australia, between 1864 and 1949. They were created to protect human beings during wartime, and they cover everything from how to treat injured soldiers to the legal rights of civilians and prisoners under occupation. The 4th Convention, signed in 1949, is the most important for civilians. It clearly outlines that when a country is occupied, the people living there must be protected, not punished. They can't be unlawfully taxed, harmed, experimented on, or ruled without consent. The occupying power has a duty of care to act like a trustee, not an abuser. So what happens if you live in a country that was never lawfully unoccupied after invasion? What if the land was taken, colonized, militarized, and the native people were never returned to lawful self-governance? That would mean Geneva still applies. Now, how does this tie into trust law? Every person with a birth certificate is entered into a hidden legal structure called a cestui que vie trust. That term comes from the Cestui que vie Act of 1666, passed in London during the Great Fire and Plague. It was created to manage the estates of people who were missing, presumed dead or lost at sea. The law says, if a man is not heard from for 7 years, the state can declare him dead and take control of his estate. Now fast forward to today. The moment your birth is registered with the government, a legal fiction is created, written in all capital letters. This is your corporate person, and it's not you. It's a separate entity, a trust estate, controlled by the state unless you rebut it. The real you, the living man or woman, is presumed dead, missing, or lost at sea under admiralty law. And this is where the fraud begins. The government becomes the trustee, controlling the estate. You, the rightful owner, are left unaware, uninformed, and treated like a debtor. Now go back to the Geneva Convention. If a people are being ruled without consent, administered under military-style legislation, charged and taxed under corporate policy, and held in legal fictions they didn't create, that's occupation. And under Geneva Convention the 4, the occupying power must protect the people, not exploit them. But instead of being protected, you are licensed to drive, taxed to work, fined to breathe, forced to register everything you own, and brought before courts acting under assumed jurisdiction. That's not protection. That's commercial warfare. It's silent, it's lawful, and it's hidden behind paper. This is why many researchers say we are still prisoners of war, not in prison cells, but inside a legal structure where the real you has no voice, your estate is used as collateral, and your consent is assumed by silence. So let's summarize. The Geneva Convention says civilians under occupation must be protected and honored. But trust law says your birth created an estate that the government now manages without your knowledge. Put them together, and what do you get? A silent occupation, a flipped trust, and millions of people being treated like commercial property instead of living souls. Unless you correct your status, unless you reclaim your estate, and unless you understand this game, the system will keep operating under the presumption that you are civilly dead, lost at sea and under occupation, with no claim to your land, your name, or your rights.